So yesterday, I had the displeasure of witnessing probably the most despicable display of demagoguery I've seen in quite some time. Now, I'm quite sure most of you know about this Kim Davis thing, the Kentucky clerk that was refusing to give marriage licenses to gay people because God. For those of you who don't, I'll leave a link in the description box to an article that kind of explains it. So, as most of you probably already know, she was told by the judge that she had to do her job. You know, the job she was elected to do. She out and out refused, so there are consequences for behavior such as that, and they locked her ass up, and they should have. Just like they would lock me up if the judge gave me an order and I didn't do it. Just like they would lock you up. So cue in Mike Huckabee. Ted Cruz too, but I'm going to put him over on the side because he didn't get a chance to speak. I'm talking specifically about Mike Huckabee. Mike Huckabee, who wants to be the president of the United States. He takes his ass down there so he can interject himself into this whole affair. And it was already a carnival before. Already. But once he put himself and his campaign in it, it became a full-blown circus. He's down there speaking in front of a crowd of between 3,000 and 5,000 people, and they're waving little crucifixes up in the air, and he's going on about Christian persecution in this country as if that's a thing. And then they tried out Kim Davis, who the judge let go because the clerks at the office were giving out marriage licenses the way they were supposed to, the way she was supposed to. So he let her go. She comes out looking like a goddamn professional wrestler to the music of Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. She gets up there, tears, they're holding her hands up like this is some sort of a victory or something. And the one thing I noticed above everything else is the overwhelming theme of all of this is that they're being persecuted. Can you imagine that? They're being persecuted. No, you're not being persecuted. You know what's really happening? We are preventing you from discriminating against other people. It's not the same thing. I don't know if Mike Huckabee will ever see this video, but if he does, and if he's watching, I want to say something to him. Mike, you're a scumbag. You are no different than all the other politicians out there because you ran your monkey ass down there specifically to get in front of that camera and make a big show of something that you know, as being a former governor, is complete horseshit. The Supreme Court did not set any precedent with that. They've done stuff like this before. Yet in this particular case, you want to yell about how the Supreme Court is overstepping their bounds and how they're now legislating laws and all this bullshit. But let me ask you a question. Years ago, not that long either, it was against the law in a lot of places for blacks and whites to get married. And a lot of people attempted to cloak their bigotry and their faith, saying that it went against their religious principles. So let's say you were back then, and you were pretty sure you're old enough, and there was a clerk that was refusing to give a black and a white person who wanted to get married their license. The law had already been changed. But this clerk feels as though, because of their faith, they don't want to do it. Would you support that? And if you say no, you're a complete and total hypocrite for supporting Kim Davis and that wacky ass decision of hers. This theme of Christian persecution is complete horseshit. And when I refer to people who think like that and react the way all of those people in that crowd reacted and the way you demagogue that entire thing up there as the American Taliban, people get mad at me. But that's what I see. Fact of the matter is, you can have your faith. You can believe whatever the hell you want to believe. So can Kim. But Kim was elected to do a job. She swore an oath to the government that she would carry out their wishes. So she can believe whatever she wants. But when she's acting for the United States government and they made a decision, she has to follow that or find another fucking job.